All right, so this is going to be one of the most daring videos I've ever made because it's windy. There's a lot of noise in the background, but I think me and you can handle it. I had to fly into New York very briefly to handle some family business, and I'm going to fly back home soon. And I brought my guitar just in case I felt inspired to make a video, which I am inspired to do so. So really quickly, this lesson is going to be like the wax on, wax off of guitar. If you've watched my channel, if you're new to my channel, very, very simply, you know, when we're improvising or making melody, we are always going to be trying to incorporate the chord tones of the chords that are happening in the music, right? And the idea here is when I'm dealing with students and teaching them and trying to get them to improvise, what happens is we learn these maps of the guitar neck, but the processing time that it takes to actually try and target the chord tones is really full of a lot of resistance at first. And that really kind of hinders our ability to feel like we're improvising because we get choked up on what to do. We might plan where to go, and then all of a sudden the chords move out from under us, and next thing you know, we're lost. So this video is about the very simple idea of learning how to feel and start diminishing that processing time so that you can end up playing in the now. All of us want to play in the moment. All of us want to be free as a bird. We still have, you know, a definitive map on the guitar neck of what, you know, where to go. But the idea is we need to learn how to think about moving towards our goals. And so we're going to start very simply. If you are one of the people out there who understands what to do, but there's so much processing time, lots of birds chirping. There's so much processing time and resistance, and the flow gets hindered when you're trying to do this. This lesson is for you. So how are we going to do this? Again, very, very simply. All right. This lesson is going to revolve around a 2-chord progression. I highly suggest that you always start with a 2-chord progression when we're learning how to flow, learning how to improvise, and not only a 2-chord progression, but a chord progression that is 1 chord followed by another chord a whole step back, something that moves back and forth. Okay, and in these 2 cases, and I teach this song a lot, this is the B chord and this is an A chord, and we're going to use the song Fire on the Mountain by the Grateful Dead to show you how to reduce your processing time. All right, so grab your guitars, you probably have them right now, and let's get down to it. Fire on the Mountain is a very, very easy chord progression. It's B major for 4 beats to A major for 4 beats. It's just B and A. Back and forth, okay? Now, some of you out there, a small percentage, might be rolling your eyes and being like, that's too boring. It's not boring. In order to understand how this stuff works, we've got to start simply, and this is simple, and it's a wonderful song. So the first thing I'm going to do is realize that chord tones are where the music is. Of course, you can have scale tones in there, but chord tones are where we all want to be. It's what makes us feel connected to the music, okay? So in this case, we have our B chord, and I have videos on my channel explaining all these arpeggios and stuff. They're popping up here. But plain and simply, we're going to use the physical chord tones that you can actually see when you're playing the chord. And from thick to thin, it's 7th fret of the E, 9th fret of the A, 9th fret of the D, 8th fret of the G, 7th fret of the B, and 7th fret of the E. These are just these chord tones, like this, but instead of playing them like a chord, I'm playing them individually. Okay, and then what's really cool about this is the chord moves down a whole step to the A chord, and the best part is the arpeggios are the same exact shape, but just 2 frets down. 5, 7, 7, 6, 5, 5. I'm sure you're following right now. But the idea here is this wax on, wax off thing is about jamming to the backing track right now. We're going to get more complex, but we're going to start like this. All right, it's very windy. So what I want to say is, you're going to start with these arpeggios, just these arpeggios. You're going to play very, very simply. And the idea here is whatever note you end on during the 4 beats of the chord, you end there. All you're going to do is now when the chord changes to the A is bring the shape bring everything 2 frets down, and realize that this is the same note, not the same note, the same interval, the same position that you just left in, like you were here. Now, you're going to bring it down 2 frets, and the idea here is that we have the same shaped arpeggio, and it's as if you just kept on playing the shape but you just took a side step, and you're going to continue your motion, and whatever chord tone you're on the A, right when it goes to the B, you're going to stop, you're going to bring that up 2 frets, and you're going to continue with that shape. The idea here is to pause on whatever note you're on right before the change, and then bring it either down 2 frets if we're going to the A, and continue playing in the shape as if you never move positions, and then when the B comes, come back up. Like if I end on this note, come back up 2 frets, and keep playing through this shape of arpeggios. What this does is it makes you realize that all you have to do now is just pause and move, and you will be on the right note automatically. If you pause where you are and move down 2 frets when the A comes, or you move up 2 frets when the B comes, because you're using the same arpeggio shape, you're always going to be on the right note. And what this does is it gets you to focus on the 2 most simplest of concepts when you're trying to learn how to improvise, which is, keeping the flow of what you're doing and moving towards the next note. That's where it starts. You want to keep the flow of what you're doing, right? And you want to learn how to move. And these are the 2 things you want to focus on, and this is the simplest way to do it. So I have a backing track here, and I'm going to play, and I'm going to show you, what I'm talking about. Here we go. There's the B, there's the A, B, A. So check this out. B, there it is, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, A. Okay, so the idea is you're pretending to play through the same arpeggio shape, but you're moving back and forth, okay, with the B and the A. And this is how you start to incorporate that wax on, wax off, that easy mental step towards improvisation where we're trying to let everything flow. Now, we're going to make it a little bit harder. We're going to add to this right now so that you can see, it's not just playing, arpeggio shapes back and forth, but you want to be able to do this where you realize that you're just moving the shape up and down, and that everything you're going to do is going to sound awesome and correct. So let's move forward, okay? And FYI, the Patreon practice sessions will be using all of these different steps, different arpeggio shapes, and also what we're about to do, different pentatonic shapes, okay? What we're going to do here is use the same exact kind of arpeggio shapes, which is the E-shaped arpeggio and the E-shaped arpeggio for both these, but now we're going to use the pentatonic that goes with both. Why do we want to use the pentatonic? Well, the pentatonic has all of those chord tones in it, but now we start to add more notes to help move the melody, and that's what this is about. So the pentatonic for each shape, which is the same, we're going to do the B is 7, 9, 6, 9, 6, 9, 6, 8, 7, 9, 7, 9. That's the E-shaped pentatonic. By E-shaped, I'm playing an E-shaped bar chord. Please check out my videos right here, because if you don't understand that, this is the easiest way to think about it. Okay, and the chord tones are in there. Everything that's not in this pretty much that's not in the chord is a non-chord tone. Don't worry about that right now. And then we're gonna move this down 2 frets, same exact shape. It comes 5, 7, 4, 7, 4, 7, 4, 6, 5, 7, 5, 7. All right, so now let's talk. All I'm going to do now is still play through the backing track, right? But now I'm going to try and add some movement with pentatonic notes. And then I'm going to try and listen for when that chord change is coming, and I want to pause on a chord tone. This is the next level. We were moving on just moving and sounding great, and now there's a little bit of planning here, which is you want to, again, these notes that we're playing before, you want to kind of pause on one of those notes before you move to the next chord. You have other notes to play, right? But now you want to make sure any one of these notes, the chord tones, is where you stop. And then you're gonna bring it down, and you're gonna keep on playing in the shape as if you never change position. All right, and then you're gonna pause on a chord tone, and you're gonna bring it up 2 frets when you go back to the B. So the idea here is you're familiar with the chord tones, but now we have a little bit of non-chord tones, scale tones that we use to move the melody in the moment, but we gotta try and find a chord tone, kind of like, you know, clicking into your ski with your boots, boom, boom, and getting ready to slide. That's, you know, finding your chord tone before you move, okay? So let's see what it sounds like. Oh, sorry. That's a train behind me. I live next to a train. Get the point. I'm gonna stop there. Sorry, I forgot to mention that behind the trees over there is the Long Island Railroad, and that's what you just heard, the diesel train going through it. So hopefully it wasn't too distracting, but hopefully you get the point here, which is now I'm using the pentatonic to move through the motion of the melody while the chord is happening. But as I know that chord is coming, the next chord, whether it's the A or the B, I kind of lock into one of those chord tones, maybe just hold it, give it a little bit of rhythm, and then I get down to the next one in the same position and I play. So this right here, this I don't know, 10, 12, whatever minute video, really quickly is just about the simplest way to train your brain and your body on how to start, to get your feet into, to dip your toes into, really, how to get that processing time reduced by taking a logical step-by-step pattern. Now, of course, when you're soloing, you know, we might be using full diatonic scales and the whole guitar neck, but this is where it starts. Being able to get your mind and attention span to focus on like where it starts, the DNA of this concept, and then expand on it. The Patreon practice sessions will be using different pentatonic shapes, different arpeggio shapes, some moving back and forth, some staying on top of each other, because when you think about this, you can do this exercise in so many different dimensions on the guitar neck, and the camera might blow over. The idea is, you know, we're moving back and forth, but of course there's a B chord here and there's an A chord here, and we'll learn how to kind of stay still, we'll learn how to move. So if this is tickling your fancy, all right, check out the Patreon practice sessions, and just realize right now, whatever you're doing, you know, stay on a chord tone, pause, and then if you can find the next chord tone in the same shape, right, just as if you never left, that helps you go, okay, this is the concept. I'll stop talking. Simple video, all right? You try this, and if you like it, I'll see you on another video. Maybe I'll see you on Patreon. I'll stop talking. It's beautiful weather. Thank you for being here. And also, I mean, I know I mentioned this, but this is a Journey Instruments foldable acoustic carbon fiber guitar that I actually used as my luggage when I was flying up from Florida to New York. I love this. There's no affiliate link or endorsement. I'm just letting you know, like, this is the intent of it, to fly on guitar. And it was a backpack. I actually put my clothes in here. I don't know if they want to hear that, but I shoved all my clothes in here and I just carried on my guitar, and it was great. Just in case you're interested, it's linked below. Again, it's not an affiliate link. Just check it out. I love it. Thanks again for being here. Another episode of StichMethod from New York, I guess. All right. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.